right-wing groups, they got a DEI watch list. They're targeting workers, federal workers. Let's put it up full mass. Now, let me remind you that the federal government is the largest single employer of Black people in the United States of America. Keep that in mind. Right-wing group publishes DEI watch list targeting federal workers. The American Accountability Foundation list included names and photos of more than 50 people, many in programs aimed at improving the health of people of color. The group says the workers named in its DEI bureaucratic watch list supported diversity, criticized Mr. Trump on social media, or made donations to Democrats. Many of the targets are Black workers at health agencies. The list was compiled by the American Accountability Foundation, a small right-wing nonprofit that was founded in 2020 to oppose the Biden administration policies and nominees. Since Mr. Trump's election, the group has stepped up its targeting of specific federal workers, some of them career employees with very little power to defend themselves, that it believes oppose his agenda. The list included dossiers about individual staff members listing what it called their DEI offenses. For example, one 24-year-old CDC staff member was singled out for a social media post she published on her 20th birthday about, quote, the harsh truths of racism, and for reposting a social media item about pain equity, an issue underpinned by research finding bias in how women, Black, and Latino people are treated when in pain. Once again, we're talking about peer-reviewed research. There's more. Another government worker singled out is a cancer biologist at the National Institutes of Health, NIH, who trained at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and who retweeted a post about a Black journalist, noting that she had been tear gassed at a peaceful demonstration near the White House in June of 2020. So President Trump could go through the area for a photo shoot. The foundation previously published watch list of workers at the Defense, Education, and Homeland Security departments. The latest list, published on an an affiliated website, includes workers from federal health agencies like the NIH and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Many of them are in programs aimed at improving the health of people of color and other vulnerable Americans. The nonprofit called them woke DEI devotees in the federal government who need to be fired, end quote. Supporters of federal workers said they worried that the workers could be targeted for harassment or violence. Before I continue with this, I want to remind all of those federal workers that the federal government has a duty, has a reasonable responsibility to make sure you are not put in danger, number one. Number two, a reasonable obligation to ensure that they create safety protocols so that you're not placed in unnecessary danger. And if they decide not to adhere to those very basic standards of your employment, you have remedy legally. Just wanted to remind you. Let's put it up. Nonprofits. Nonprofits president Thomas Jones, a longtime conservative activist, said in an interview that he wanted to single out people who had not already been suspended in Mr. Trump's purge of federal diversity offices. Jones said he was not concerned that the post would put workers in danger. The American Accountability Foundation received a $100,000 grant last year from who? The Heritage Foundation, the group behind the project 2025 Blueprint for a Republican Presidency. PBS caves to Trump, oust staffers. Quote, we have closed our DEI office, end quote. The public broadcast service announced Monday evening it had closed its diversity, equity, and inclusion office in order to comply with an executive order signed by President Donald Trump. Is anybody going to fight? Quote, in order to best ensure we are in compliance with the president's executive order around diversity, equity, and inclusion, we have closed our DEI office, the person said. The staff members who served in that office are leaving PBS. We will continue to adhere to our mission and values. PBS will continue to reflect all of America and remain a welcoming place for everyone. You're a damn lie. You're a damn lie. And you're lying to everybody. You're not going to do anything but what that weak, cowardly, frail, fragile, white, racist male tells you to do. And if I'm wrong, prove it. Yasmin, thoughts?
Yeah, so we're here, right? This is what we were all warning everybody about for so long, especially here on this network. I understand that this isn't coming from the government. I understand that this is coming from a nonprofit, but the right now not only believes, but is publicly stating that disliking and speaking out against the president is worthy of punishment. The people who think their freedom of speech should excuse their terrible behavior, the same people who think freedom of speech means freedom from consequences, they also think that other people can and should lose their jobs for exercising that same right, as long as they're exercising that right to speak out against the president. Donald Trump is not a king. As much as he would like to be, he is not a king. It is our right and even our responsibility to speak out against our elected officials, even if we voted for them. These people have completely lost the Democratic plot, and they're not even pretending anymore. But these executive orders from Trump, which the Democrats, by the way, should have seen coming a mile away, have really stunted so many people in the country, and they have emboldened so many others. The Democrats should have been better prepared for what was coming. They need to fight harder for the decades, if not centuries, of progress that so many have fought and died for in this country. They can't just let it go away as easily as it is, but they need to start not just fighting harder, but they need to get creative. They need to start fighting more smart, and they need to fight more along the lines the same way that the Republicans are fighting, right? They go after, the Republicans have been waging this war for decades. They have worked very hard to put certain people in certain positions of power to where once they got enough people in strategic positions, they would be able to enact certain things. And that is exactly what we're seeing happening right now. The problem is that back in the 1980s, if anybody blew a whistle on all this, people would have said, "Oh, you're being sensationalist. You're talking crazy. That's not going to happen. Not my problem. It's not going to be a problem." And even in 2015, when Donald Trump started running for president, and whenever he was saying all these crazy things, when he was on that golden escalator, so many people said this is going to be a problem. They all called us crazy and said, "No, it's not going to be a problem. Relax, everybody relax. People on the left are so annoying." Here we are. We're at the point where our literal freedom of speech and our First Amendment of the Constitution is being threatened, has been being threatened, but now they're trying to remove people from positions, from their jobs, removing their ways of earning their livelihood just because they don't like the president. And that is not a democracy. Whatever it is, it's not a democracy.
That's right. And once again, Democrats who have failed to be creative, think outside of the box, stop following his agenda, make up your own, push the needle. It's not about how much progress you can make, but damn it, it's about how much progress is inside of you to make it. If you're not willing to do what no other Democrat has done before, in the face of what no other Republican president has ever done, you're not fit to lead right now. This is an unprecedented territory. You are not up for the fight. And I will echo my sentiment once again for the gatekeepers. Please get out the way. Please move. Please move. Nancy Pelosi, please move. You're not equipped to fight in this political era. You're not. Let the progressives take it over. They are at least able to fight in this political climate. You're too purchased. The corporations got your card. You're too beholding to the status quo. I don't care whose fault it is anymore. You're not fit to lead and effectively combat this type of movement happening against progress in our country.